Hello, I'm Damien Rowe, and we're continuing Gore Screaming Show. Yet again, the greatest angle known to mankind. I just have to be sitting like this, so sorry if the camera is kinda wonky. I was too tired to put on like any makeup or a wig, so it's my natural face. I look so like faded out and pale on camera. I'm growing out my hair momentarily, so like, yeah, you can really see the roots shining right now. It is so visible, but like, soon it will match my sweater, so I want to grow out my hair a bit, but like first I want to grow out just my natural hair, like slowly cutting off all of the black hair. Like, I'm kind of sad because, like, I really love this black hair. I kind of wish I could keep it forever, but I just feel like I should give my hair some time to regenerate. So, yeah, I'm gonna grow it out a bit, and I want to grow it, like, up to my shoulders. I had that several times, but I always end up cutting my hair because I'm too warm, like, I'm sweating and I just can't be bothered to keep on styling it, so I just end up cutting it into a bowl cut. Always, like, I grow my hair for like a year, then I cut it off, and then I grow it again. It's a never-ending cycle. It'll probably happen again, but yeah, it's a fun cycle. Okay, so let's continue. To go closer. Okay, we left off here. Oh yeah, Gore was doing that illusion spell on us. Oh god. Oh yeah, he could break it with Yoshiki's crystal or whatever he has. I still don't know the lore behind that crystal. Kyunji glances at the object he's still holding, Yoshiki's arm. When it fell to the floor earlier, Kyunji caught a glimpse of reality. Or at least, that's what he thought. Maybe it's worth trying again. Yuka said it herself. Go couldn't eat this arm. Maybe Yoshiki's somehow protecting them from beyond the grave. It sounds like something out of an occult documentary, but maybe it really possesses such power. I mean, Yoshiki probably like was also an occult journalist or something, that's why he has this kind of thing. After a moment's hesitation, Kyuji places Yoshiki's arm on the floor. He assumes the pendant is important to Yoshiki in some way, so he sets the limb down gently, making sure the pendant doesn't touch the floor. He waits for a moment, but nothing happens. Was he imagining what happened earlier? After all, it's the pendant. It's not Yoshiki's arm that's important, it's the pendant. Goodness, boy. Biting his lip, he picks up Yoshiki's arm again. The pendant is curled around the arm, but the strap comes loose, causing the stone to touch the floor. Was he really thinking all of this time that it's Yoshiki's arm? My god, how are you this stupid? Oh my goodness. Kuji's eyes widen in realization. He understands now. It's not that Yoshiki's arm contains some power, it's the pendant that's special. Oh my god, Kyoji! Sweetheart! Oh my goodness. The ripples spread again, slowly growing larger and larger. The rippling grows into a swirl with the pendant at the very center, and the breeze begins to billow. The wind rises up into a spiral, forming a small tornado. It whips at Kyoji's hair, lashing so fiercely at his cheeks that they sting. The fuck is that pendant doing? The light grows brighter. The room, already wet as it is, becomes dazzlingly white, so bright he can't bear to look at it. I mean, it's not really what the CG is showing right now. Kyoji reflexively squeezes his eyes shut. A high-pitched sound reverberates inside his head, louder and louder, until both light and sound reach a climax, until finally he can't see or hear anything anymore. But then his vision returns. Is this What's going on? He's back in the dining hall. Could it be that he never set foot outside this room, experiencing an illusion the entire time? That's what illusions are, Kyoji. As he looks around, a raspy voice calls him out. Oh, Yoshiki, so you're... okay, I guessed correctly, because when they, like, served his arm and everything and they were, like, screaming, I was just like, but it's just his arm. Like, the rest of it might be alive, so... it might just be Yoshiki missing an arm. Sitting with his back leaning against the wall is none other than Yoshiki. God, he's such a fucking badass. Shit. Like, peak writing badass characters is just like, I just think about every, like, visual novel writer or artist in, like, the early 2000s just being like, okay, we need a badass character. What is, like, the definition of badass? Lung cancer. Like, we need to give them a cigarette that they will smoke at all fucking costs. And yeah, there's so much CGs that when you're trying to show, like, the character is, like, so badass that you just put them in the wildest situation, but you put a cigarette in their mouth. Now it's like Yoshiki's just slumped against the wall with his arm obviously chopped off, like there's blood everywhere, he's dying, but he has a cigarette in his mouth because he's a cool guy. Oh my god, I love how old this is. You're alive? I thought you were dead. Kyoji squats down to face him. Yoshiki cracks a bitter smile. I wish I was Kyoji. Not yet, but I don't think I'll last longer. Yoshiki says this like it's not his problem, but his face is pallid. Yeah, he's probably accepting death. A makeshift tourniquet bites deeply into his arm. You mean like a pressure band or something? Severed just above the elbow, but the flesh has turned purple necrotic. Oh, that's... His clothes are soaked with blood. Kyoji can see severe injuries under the torn fabric. Kyoji didn't immediately notice her? Oh, since he was so focused on Yoshiki's gruesome state, but Momone is sitting there, clinging to him. Hurry! We have to run! We just need to get you to hospital. You can. You can do it. You can save me from those demons, right? What is she going on about? Kyoji! Please, did your parents drop you as a child? Holy shit! Oh my goodness. I mean, there's writing like dumb characters, but there's like dumb characters. Goodness. Kyoji furrows his brow. She probably meant Gore and Yuka when she said demons, but isn't Momone Yuka's mother? Oh my goodness. Babe. Yoshiki lets out a guttural chuckle. Damn, Yoshiki. Sorry, I came here to avenge Sayumi, not to save you. No! But Yoshiko looks at what Kyoji is still holding in his arms. Momone told me that you picked it up and ran. Oh. Momone told me that you picked it up and ran, but if you had that, there's still a chance. Yoshiko looks directly into Kyoji's eyes. The man's gaze still burns brightly. Kyoji. Yeah? It feels like the first time Yoshiki has called him by name, which unsettles him. You've known each other for a day. Yoshiki gives him a serious look, as if he's talking to an equal. Give me that arm. Kyoji holds out the man's own severed limb. Yoshiki accepts his lost arm, which was a part of his body not long ago, with the same indifference as he might accept an offered handkerchief. Does he have, like, powers? Can he, like, put it back on? That'd be kinda badass. But then, with a level of care in stark contrast to that indifference, removes the pendant from the arm before holding it back to Kyoji. Take this. The stone has the power to oppose them. You realize that by now, right? If the arm is like severed already, the nerves fucking, you know. How was the pendant tangled in his arm so well that Kyoji, like running with the fucking arm, did not make the pendant fall? But also, Yoshiki could take out the pendant with one arm. How? Yeah, I think. So you haven't realized it by this point? But what is this thing? And who is that guy thing? I'd love to answer your questions, but we're sadly short on time. What are you going to do now? Die? This lady, she's right. You can just run away now. You might live if we go you to the hospital. Suddenly he does not give a fuck about Akane. Suddenly he just completely forgets about Akane. Holy shit, Kyoji. Yoshiki is still lucid enough to talk this clearly. If he receives proper medical care, he would definitely survive. Yoshiki's next words come out in the faintest of whispers. No, I can't. I lost too much blood. I can't move. Yoshiki is right. Even in a few minutes they've been talking, his face has grown visibly paler. At this point, his skin is ashen. Kuji has seen a corpse before. His grandfather's, who passed away peacefully in his sleep. Yoshiki looks just as pale as his grandfather did back then. As Yoshiki said, there's no saving him anymore. Nothing can change that fact. Don't look at me like that. Yoshiki says with a sad smile, placing the pendant in Kyoji's palm and softly closing his fingers. Akane? Hello? Or are they all just being like, just fucking leave Akane, who gives a shit? I mean... The thing is... Even if he took the pendant, took Momone, and left the place, Yuka and Go can just follow them? You know, like, are you ever truly safe? Could you actually hide away from them? Like, I think they will find you. It's not really safe. I mean, it would be a better option than staying here and probably dying right now. But also, like, you're a piece of shit who dragged Akane into all of this, so, like, Kyoji should die, at least for Akane's sake. This mansion will be gone soon. What do you mean? Do you have a lighter? Are you going to light this on fire? Gone? He's probably going to light it on fire. No questions, just hurry up and get out of here. Yoshiki gently pushes him, but he shakes his head. Akane is missing. I have to find her. Wow. Hearing this, Yoshiki furrows his brow. After thinking for a few moments, he nods. You have 5 minutes, at most. Hurry, we have to run. Before Kyoji can reply, Momone bolts away. She flings the door open and runs off. Okay. Okay. Go. Kyoji nods and reluctantly takes off after Momone. So you're leaving? Wait. Akane! He shouts as he runs behind Momone. He can't hear Akane or see any sight of her. Hey you, Momone-san. Do you know where Akane might be? Kyoji shouts at Momone, but the woman simply runs wilder, her hair flying in all directions. It doesn't seem like she's listening to him. How can she run? When he first saw her, she was leaning on a cane like an old lady. So, where is she getting that speed from? Is it all from just panic and adrenaline? I mean, it probably is. Her leg still drags behind her, but compared to when he first saw her, Her steps are downright nimble. Now that he's seeing her from behind, she also looks much younger than he first thought. Akane! Akane! He keeps calling out to her, but to no avail. They eventually return to the familiar spot, the door to the parlor from where they first visited the mansion. If that's the case, the entrance hall should be right around the corner. He has no idea what Yoshiki's planning on doing. Probably lighting the mansion on fire or bombing it. But they're running out of time. If Akane is still trapped in the mansion, he has to turn back and save her. He's about to do just that when he hears Momone cry from the entrance hall that lies just ahead. Yuka! Yuka! That's actually a really young sounding voice. Her voice is full of hatred. Yuka stands in the entrance hall with her back to the front door, as if she's trying to block the escape. Facing her is Momone, who has drawn herself up to her full height, legs apart. Yuka, you demon! You're still trying to get in my way. You captured me, made me into your slave. No, you treated me even worse than a slave. Momone glares at Yuka with bloodshot eyes, frothing at the mouth as she howls with fury. Oh, she is fully insane. That is not a great idea to take this person back into the real world, not gonna lie. Well, that's too bad for you. But you can't do that anymore. Because I know now. That pendant is your weakness. Serves you right. That boy you're pinning for so hard, Kyoji, he hates you. And of course he does, because you're a demon. Yuka simply looks at Momone, saying nothing. Momone doesn't seem to care. She keeps rambling on, finally venting all her pent-up emotions. Good for you, I guess. It's not useful. Kyoji pushes past Momone and confronts Yuka himself. Shut up. Hey, where's Akane? Is she with that freak, Gore? There's no time. He has to save her now and get out of here before it's too late. Looking away from Momone, Yuka gazes expressionlessly at Kyoji and parts her lips. Do you really care so much about that woman, Kyoji? Face burns up. His face burns up. He has a feeling she's mocking him. If you freaks do anything to Akane, I'll make you pay. I'll kill you, I swear. Good luck with that. Huh? Yuka curls a lock of her hair around her index finger, toying with it as if she seems to mull something over. Tell me, or else... Kyoji grips the pendant Yoshiki gave him tightly. He doesn't know how it will affect Yuka, but this is his only weapon here. But just as that thought crosses his mind... Listen to me. You have to listen to me. Momone charges at Yuka. In her hands is a kitchen knife she must have picked up at some point. Woman is insane. Momone raises the knife. Yuka doesn't so much as stir, staring once again at Momone. Her large, distinctive eyes reflect Momone as she is about to stab her. You can see the nice pointed sink into Yuka's belly as if it were happening in slow motion. The two crash into a display case by the entrance, their bodies tangle together as their heads slam against the furniture. Can she regenerate? Yuka! Kyoji doesn't know why, but he finds himself calling out her name. He hurries over to their crumbled bodies. When he pulls Momone upright, who's lying over Yuka, he cringes. Oh, that is... What the hell? How did that happen? Genuinely have no fucking clue how this is happening. Because, like, even if a glass shot did hit your brain, I didn't think from that small of a, like, wound, I don't think your brain would be literally oozing out. I don't think that's a thing. What the fuck? Momone's eyes have rolled back into her eye sockets as she spasms slightly. The cabinet's door shattered, sending sharp pieces of glass through the back of her head. Her decrepit face is curled into a grimace, letting her tongue stick out from between her pale, quivering lips. Soon enough, she stops moving entirely. Her limp body sags into Kyoji's arms as all strength abandons her. Just you know. What did Momone do to her? You stupid kid. And I was going to let you live. I forgave you. And after everything you did to me. They had to pull in a fucking panty shot in this fucking scene. Oh my god. Wait, oh, okay, there's blood dripping literally down her panties. Oh my goodness. Yuka pushes Momone off her, her voice soft. Hey, she be getting up? Feels strange to ask Yuka such a question. After all, she put Akane and Yoshiki through so much pain. But seeing her suffer so much before his eyes has stirred his heart. You're the weakest specimen there is. Thick beads of cold sweat form on Yuka's forehead as she grimaces. The kitchen knife is embedded deep in her slender torso. Can she not heal? Also, her knee is so fucking short. You could probably like kick somebody and stab them. Yuka grabs the kitchen's handle with her small hands. Don't take it out, girl. Hey. Moaning, she starts to pull the knife from her belly. Hey, stop it! You'll die! Calls out trying to stop her, but Yuka doesn't heed his words. Can't she regenerate then? A sound like a geyser reaches his ears. A fountain of blood gushes forth before his eyes. A knife, coated in blood up to its hilt, clatters to the floor and slides all the way to the wall. Yuka presses a diminutive palm. What the fuck is a diminutive? This game got me searching all sorts of stuff. Diminutive. Extremely or unusually small. Say she has a small palm. My goodness, you're just trying so hard. You're trying so hard with this sentence, holy shit. Yuka presses a diminutive palm against her belly and peers up coquettishly at a shell-shocked Kyoji. I mean, you've kind of tried to kill me and like my girlfriend, so like, you know, it's kind of like kill the person before they kill you kind of situation, you know. I don't know. I would probably take the knife and continue. You're not like her, right, Kyoji? You don't do anything stupid like Momone did, right? Dark red blood seeps from between her round, childish fingers, dripping onto the floor. Her eyes beg him. She scoots in his direction, leaving behind a trail of blood. A trickle of blood flows from her lips. You'll always be with me, Kyoji. Hey. She closes in on him. He pulls away until his back hits the door. Can she heal? Is she just trying to make him say it? You won't choose that awful woman. Hello? You'll stay with me, right? Yuka's eyes twinkle. Her blood-stained lips part in a smile, revealing that even her teeth are red with blood. Without even meaning to, Kyoji lets out a panicked yelp. I love the fucking music. It just sounds like, you know, in like cowboy films, like the Wild West films. This is the music you have when like people set up a duel or like they're about to like, you know, fight it off. Oh my fucking god. This is perfect. Also, why is Yoshiki still alive? He should have been dead by this point. So it's about time. Yoshiki whispers, looking up at the grandfather clock, or rather, at the spot where he remembers seeing the grandfather clock. He hasn't been able to see clearly for a while now. No, his eyes can see, but what they perceive fails to properly register in his mind. His field of vision is dark and clouded. Specks of green, yellow, and black waft through it, then vanish. I actually thought he was just like standing behind Yuka and going to kill her up front. Okay, this unexpected, I guess. When it all turns black, his pathetic life will come to an end. Yoshiki slowly tries to raise his left hand. Gripped in his fingers is a small silver lighter. A guitar is engraved onto the surface of the lighter. Sayumi, the only woman Yoshiki ever loved, gave it to him on one of his birthdays they spent together. Why does Yoshiki and Sayumi sound so similar? Is that like an actual metal or VK band? There's apparently a fighter called Sayumi Yoshiki, so... I mean... They did have a reference to X, like the band. And like one of the members is Yoshiki. But like, I think that's reaching a bit too far. He doesn't really look like Yoshiki, so... I don't know. Does he? I don't know. I don't think they're actually like doing a reference to X band Yoshiki in this game and him just fucking passing away. I don't think it's that. But it just seems so similar, like Yoshiki and Sayumi. His fingers tremble. The coal won't budge. He needs to somehow light the flame and hold it up to his stomach. Oh, he's lighting himself on fire to start the fire. Okay. He has to light the dynamite strapped to his stomach. Bro, what? Bro, what? Okay. But his numb fingers just can't seem to manage. Oh god, please. Please don't die without actually doing anything. Holy shit. Come to think of it, the bone of his one remaining arms are broken too. He was so occupied until now he didn't have the time to think about it. Yoshiki cracks a tired smile. No, at this point he can't even conjure up the strength to change his expression. And if his face doesn't budge though, he's laughing at himself inside his heart. Really, he always did scrub at the most important moments. Oh my goodness. Focuses all of his willpower on moving his fingers. If only he manages to open the cover, the lighter would ignite. Then all he needed to do was to drop it on his stomach. As long as his clothes caught, the fuse would ignite. So he hoped. He hoped that Kyoji and Akane made it safely out of the mansion. That boy is just like him, trying to protect the girl he cares for the same way Yoshiki wanted to protect Sayumi. That Kyoji wouldn't have to tread the same path he did. I mean... right now, he didn't even find Akane and will probably die in a bomb, so... I don't know, mate. For a moment, he thinks he hears what sounds like an uncoiling spring. Then he sees something like a red flame flash in his darkened vision, so he did? He can't tell if he's going to the same place Sayumi went to, but if nothing else, he'll get to rest. This time, Yoshiki really manages a smile, but suddenly he sees something that shouldn't be there. His field of vision, which has been fading for a while, suddenly clears up. Is it Akane? He sees a pair of slender legs and clean sneakers. This isn't Yuka. He can't find the strength to raise his head, so he only looks up with his eyes. Huh? Is she possessed by Gore? Also, another fucking panty shot. Like, I didn't need this. Akane stands there, looking down at Yoshiki with an expressionless face and lifeless eyes. When she watches the life drain from Yoshiki, she doesn't react at all. She just stands there with a dazed look on her eyes. On her face. Is she possessed? Run. He can't manage to speak. He wants to tell her to run. The Kyoji's looking for her. But she has to get out of here fast. Yoshiki's hands tremble. The lightest flames flicker unsteadily. All he needs to do is set fire to himself. They should settle this. That's all he must do with little life remains in him. Please light yourself on fire. Akane is not making it out of here. But Akane doesn't react. She just stands there like a statue. Then something like a black mist surges up from behind her. Hey there, Mr. One Foot in the Grave. Hi, says soon to be 6 feet under. How do you feel down there? How indeed? Go slips up Akane and sinks to the floor in front of Yoshiki, shaking his head like a bobblehead. He peers into the dying man's eyes, shaking his head like a carnival float. Your eyes look like you're asking for something. Like you're asking the great Gore Screaming Show to fulfill your lofty request.
You are so very happy.
Why did they literally change what he said? He said happy, not lucky. If what they're saying is in English, you should not translate it differently. What the fuck? He literally said happy, not lucky. You are so very happy because good old Gore will listen to your request. Gore snatches the lighter out of Yoshiki's hand. Is he going to just set him on fire? Keep shaking it up and down, in and out of Yoshiki's field of vision, tossing it around like a beanbag. You're not going to make Akane eat Yoshiki, right? Right? Do you know? I bet you do. What happened to the god who gave fire to humanity? He was bound to the mountain peak for a century, an eagle eating his innards forever. So, in respect to that beautiful sacrificial spirit of yours, let's send you off with a big fire with bang! A flame suddenly bursts to life in Gore's hand. The raging, dancing flame approaches Yoshiki's stomach. Akane simply stands next to Gore, her eyes blank. Gore's shrill, cacophonious cackling mingles with the hiss of the flame racing down the fuse. Kyoji, I'm sorry. A flash, and then a deafening blast. Can Gore survive it, or did he just plan to kill himself? At that point, Yoshiki's consciousness reaches its end. Moments later, the blast reaches the entrance hall, where Kyoji and the others are. Ah! Kyoji, who's been cornered next to the door, was lifted into the air along with her. His body is flung away at a dizzying speed. So, this is the end? The fuck? For the briefest of moments, he feels weightless. Then gravity yanks him back to the ground. Gets a glimpse of Yuka's small body sailing from Sees how she crashes to the ground, how she impacts a piece of debris jutting out from it. Sees the blood spattering every which way. He hits the ground. The impact knocks all the air from his lungs. Might have gone unconscious for a second. Everything goes blank. When he opens his eyes again, the first thing he sees is red, burning sky. It forms a backdrop, the color of Akane's hair, upon which a column of black smoke filled with countless sparks is painted. The sparks and ember dance like a flock of fireflies in the dark cloud. A sight that strikes him as oddly beautiful despite the horror of this moment. Night sky has its sparkling stars, and day has a brilliant sun. Smeary black smoke and cinders fit the sunset. But as that thought crosses his dazed mind, he realizes something else. That there is something hot on his legs. Fire, right? Koji jumps up and scrambles away. The sparks he was admiring are also smoldering the top of his uniform and leaving little burn marks all over it. As he beats the cinders off his body, he gets to his feet. Despite being blown away by the blast, he miraculously doesn't seem to have broken or fractured any bones. In fact, he can still walk normally. What the fuck is that? What kind of weak-ass bomb did Yoshiki have on him if Kyoji can just completely walk? He's definitely quite battered, but perhaps due to the adrenaline rush, he's not feeling any pain at all. None of that matters, anyway. Given the situation, Kyoji can only stare, aghast. It's burning. How did he just get out of the house? Also, does this mean that just everybody else is fucking dead apart from him? The large and sturdy mansion, built from stone, is now in flames. The flames dance so high that Kyoji has to ask himself what in that dreary building could be fueling a fire so large. Maybe it's Gore. He's standing in what used to be the front garden, which is now littered with rumble that was blown away from the estate. The fact that none of it hit him feels like a miracle. No, it isn't a miracle. I wish something hit him. The heat emanating from the flames burns and dries Kyoji's skin even from the distance. The sound of a glass window being blown out somewhere by the fire raging inside brings Kyoji to his senses. Akane! Akane! I don't think she's making it out. He shouts as loudly as he can. Did she make it out? She was standing in front of the bomb. I don't think she made it out. Wanted to be able to protect her this time. Did he fail again? Akane, can you hear me? He stumbles around, struggling to lift his feet. Akane! On that terrible day 3 years ago, he failed to protect her, so this time he wants to believe he managed to keep her safe by doing fuck all. Akane doesn't want to lose her. Answer me, Akane. Kyoji shouts as hard as he can, trying to make himself heard over the din of the collapsing building. Come on. If she's alive, that is such bullshit. Kyoji's eyes widen. He's not imagining things. He definitely just heard Akane's voice. Please just let her be like completely torn apart or something to make it at least somewhat realistic. He looks around and spots a pair of feet peeking out from behind a piece of debris, one missing a sneaker. Akane! Kyoji promptly hurries over to her. Between two large pieces of rubble, on a patch of grass that's barely visible between them, Akane lies, her body twisted. Laughter spontaneously spills from his lips. He's fucking... No, he can see that she's bruised and scraped all over, but she's not seriously injured at all. What the fuck? What the fuck? She was in front of the bomb. You're telling me that it lit a building on fire that quickly, but Akane survived it? Ain't no fucking way. Give me a break. No, I don't have any milk. Give me a longer break. I'm going to go and get some juice. This can't even like be the fault of like the really bad translation, which is now very obviously bad because they even mistranslated the fucking English. But like, this is the story. He cradles her in his arms, feeling her warmth. Lucky girl, you're pretty much intact. Icky. He unconsciously voices his thoughts out loud. Thank goodness. Just thank goodness. He embraces her. Smoke and sparks swirl up into the sky, which is now turning violet with the coming night. Kyoji can still hear the sound of cackling in the crumbled rubble behind him. But the nightmare that lasted for so long is finally over. Yoshiki's sacrifice puts an end to all of this. I don't fucking think so. If Akane survived, God definitely survived, okay? Also, did I get the good end? I'm so unlucky. Shit. Did I actually get the good end? Koji stares. The sunlight shining through the curtains is blinding him. I don't want a good end. Fuck it. His body feels so sluggish, he can't even tell if he's awake or not. His mind feels just as heavy, even though the light is piercing through his closed eyelids. His frozen thoughts still have yet to thaw. A bird seems to be sitting on the porch's railing. He thought it would fly away now that he's awake, but it's just hopping around instead. Its gentle chirping mingles with a rhythmic, pecking sound. The potted plant that Yamiko sometimes waters on a whim, then neglects, is somewhere over there. The bird's probably pecking at its seeds. The thing with the flower, that is completely me. Like, I forget when I've watered something, if I have watered something. And those plants just like are in a limbo of dying and being rebirthed. This actually feels like a dream. Like, is he actually just dying, but he's like having a dream that it's all okay? Listen to this jaunty rhythm, reminiscent of tap dancing. Starts to stir his unconsciousness into waking. He cracks his eyes open, finding himself in his familiar room. His uniform and underwear are scattered across the floor right where he dropped them last night. Disgusting. He ended up not taking a bath yesterday. In fact, he toppled into bed without even changing into his pajamas. That's even more disgusting. Last night, after that explosion, thinking they should leave before anyone else arrives at the scene, he carries Akane down to the mountain. The explosion was big enough that even the people at the bottom of the mountain must have noticed. It won't be long before the police and firefighters show up, to say nothing of specters. They'd probably discover Yuka's corpse and dig Yoshiki's body out of the rubble. If Kyoji and Akane were still there, he had no idea what might happen. People would demand an explanation from them, and they didn't know anything themselves. Thankfully, Akane miraculously got away unscathed, and he only had a few bruises. They could just get off the mountain before anyone showed up. They could pretend like nothing happened. They got off the game trail, reaching the Hokora they visited earlier with Yamiko. By the time they got to the crossroads leading to the front shrine, he had multiple sets of footsteps hurrying up the stone stairs. With Akane on his back, Kyoji hurried over to the Hokora. Hiding behind it, he put Akane down and peered out towards the crossroad. Saw a group of men appear on the staircase. Yuck, I really did see a fire. We gotta call the fire department. With how the dry... Okay, it wasn't... I ain't seeing things this time, okay? With how dry the air is today, this fire could engulf the whole mountain. Honestly, I think even the translators were done with this fucking game. Even they were like, please just let it end. Kyoji remained hidden behind the small shrine as he watched them vanish in the distance. It was then that Akane lent out a faint moan. Oh yeah. Oh, that was pathetic, girl. Akane, you're awake. Kyoji squatted next to Akane. Akane blinked a few times, staring into space, dazed for a few moments with her lips parted. Akane? Akane, do you recognize me? Akane still looked dazed. She might have hit her head pretty hard when she landed on the ground. Couldn't bear the thought of something happening to her. That thought sent a chill down his back. Akane, stay with me. I mean, what the fuck was that scene a moment ago, where she was literally possessed? When he squeezed her hand, she finally recognized him. Kyoji. She looks way better with her hair down, not gonna lie. You're awake? Thank goodness. Let out a long sigh. His relief drained all the tension from his body. Akane's hand sheepishly squishes his hand in return. Did I actually accidentally get the good ending? I'm so unlucky. Does it hurt anywhere? Did you hit your head? Akane simply smiled up at him without saying a word. Honestly, the only redeeming thing would be if Yuka's soul got into Akane's body and they would be together. Alright, but maybe you should go to the hospital just to be on the safe side and His lips trembled, but he somehow manages to suppress the emotions surging up in him, saying his next words without letting his composure crumble. The old man, he said... When Yoshiki said the mansion would be gone, must have been referring to the explosion. Could you realize what he meant sooner, he would have stopped him. The sky beyond the trees was still red. You could hear the sirens of fire engines wailing in the distance. Akane said nothing, simply staring blankly at Kyoji. They ended up leaving Mount Nishimori by blending in with the gathering spectators. Akane probably hit her head after all. Her gait seemed unsteady at first, but soon enough she was walking just fine on her own again. And nobody noticed the two young kids who looked severely fucked up. Nobody noticed, yeah, right. Kyoji escorted her to her doorstep, at which point she looked around inquisitively. Hey, Akane, are you sure you're alright? Is it actually Yuka? Is it actually Yuka? Akane spins in place for a moment, her skirt flapping. Fine. Yeah, she kinda looks like Yuka right now. But how? Really? Shouldn't you go to the hospital just in case? She wordlessly shook her head and then waved at him, her eyes still looking a bit unfocused. See you, Kyoji. After that, Kyoji went home alone, the sirens of fire engines echoing in the distance. Felt like they were blaring for a long time. Doesn't really remember what happened next. He got the impression Yamiko asked him what happened, but he doesn't remember what he told her. When he got to his room, he pretty much went out like a light. However, looking around made it pretty clear to him what happened after that. Letting out a long, heavy breath, Kyoji slowly sits up. Noticing his presence, the bird at the porch hurriedly flaps its wings and flies off. The idea that something like yesterday happened in his average, uneventful life feels unreal. Yeah, your life is really uneventful. Your life is so uneventful that the only thing in your life that happened was you and your childhood friend being molested and like taken advantage of, and then you moving because of the trauma, and yeah, that's totally uneventful. I think the only events in your life that ever happened was those like 10 days with Yuka. Such a boring life, am I right? The fuck, Kyoji? But yesterday's events really did take place. His aching joints and the small, darkening bruises dotting his body served as proof. I'm losing my mind. Has Yoshiki's corpse been discovered yet? If it hasn't, he hopes they'll discover it soon. At the very least, he deserves a proper burial. Okay. Question. The crystal thing that Yoshiki had, is it gone forever? Because that seems like a very important thing that Kyoji should have kept a tighter, you know, fist around. Though maybe it's not his place to say that, given he left Yoshiki behind on the verge of death and ran away. He feels disgusted, as if he was forced to drink bitter medicine. With Yoshiki's death, all the disturbing things that have been happening to Kyoji have probably come to an end. But what is he going to tell Yamiko? Morning. When he heads to the dining room, he finds Yamiko leaning on the table, staring absent-mindedly at her hands. She's gripping a white envelope, her head is bowed and her shoulders are slumped. She looks completely exhausted. And yet, fingers clench the envelope so tightly, her fingertips have turned white. Yamiko-san? Is like a notice that Yoshiki's dead. Kyo-chan, you're up. Yeah, what time is it? It's past noon. You slept so soundly, I just couldn't wake you up. Yamiko casually stuffs the envelope into her skirt pocket. skirt pocket? Isn't she wearing pants? Why would you casually be wearing a skirt in your house? Are you insane? You want me to fix you something? You must be hungry. Yeah. He doesn't have much of an appetite, but he nods anyways. But even as he does, he can't hide his confusion. Something feels off. After a moment, he realizes what it is. It's the way she's talking. It's not the usual slow, calm manner of speaking with a tendency to trail off. She sounds so normal. It doesn't feel right. Say, Yamiko-san, is something wrong? My guy? There's several things wrong if you haven't noticed. Something like what? I don't know. Like the white envelope, like Yoshiki never returning, like you returning, looking like a fucking corpse? What do you mean? Oh my goodness. Yamiko is reheating a bento in the kitchen. From his position, he can't really see her expression. Maybe I'll have lunch with you too. I haven't had anything yet. It's not a usual carefree manner of speaking, but it's not particularly gloomy either. She soon returns to the table with 2 plates of spaghetti. It's always spaghetti. Soft smile on her lips. How does she feel about Yoshiki's continued absence? He has no idea. He still isn't sure if he should tell her anything or not. Yeah? Of course! Of course you should tell... Kyoji! Kyoji, my man! Of course you should tell her! What the fuck is wrong with you? He doesn't know what happened with the fire yesterday, if any bodies were discovered, or what the media made of the whole affair. He has so much to ask, but he can't bring himself to do so. TV is quietly playing something in the living room, but it's just a silly variety show. Don't turn off, second PC, you're my light source. Having given it some thought, he cautiously asks her a question. Oh, aren't you gonna heat up a plate for the old man? Kyochi, I genuinely wish you died in the fire. Fuck. No, I mean, he doesn't need it anymore. Kyoji! Wakey, did your parents not only drop you, but like bang you against the fucking floor? Like, holy shit, my guy. You are missing more than half of your brain by this point. What do you mean by that? Oh, her face. Oh. Yumiko places the plastic fork that came with the spaghetti on the table. You're eating with the plastic fork. I'm disgraced. Her eyes gaze directly at Kyoji. She hasn't had these expressions before, right? Kyo-chan, why don't you tell me everything you know? She knows. Yumiko knows Yoshiki dead. No, maybe she even knows everything else, to some degree. He parts his lips, not sure what to tell her, or where to even begin. Did he tell her about Yoshiki's severed arm? Yes. About how Yoshiki told him to leave him behind and he did so? Yes. You should be truthful and tell people the truth. Like, you haven't been telling people the truth this entire game, but I think it's time to step up. You know, about how Momone died with a shard of glass stuck in her head. Yeah? Tell her who Momone is. Also. About how Yuka's small body ended up smashing against the pile of rubble. Yes? His mouth is open, but no words will leave his throat. His lips and mouth are unpleasantly dry. Come on. Yuka patiently places her hands onto the table, clasped together with interlocking fingers. Start from the beginning and take as long as you need. Tell me everything that happened, no matter how strange. Miko-san, Well, the thing is, he doesn't know the truth either. No one's going to judge you. You're not at fault here. I just want to know the truth. He doesn't know the truth. He literally doesn't know half of what's going on. Himiko's voice sounds nothing like he usually does. It's calm, grown up. It's like a weight has suddenly lifted from his body. All his pent-up tension drains out of him. Just as she asks, Kyoji tells her everything. Their conversation lasted for a long time, going back and forth. Himiko knows how and when to ask all the right questions, and is in general a good listener. Since he hasn't completely shaken off his confusion, his explanations are haphazardless. Nonetheless, Himiko listens patiently, only pausing occasionally to summarize his tale neatly. Kyoji ends up going entirely silent a few times. Whenever he wants to talk about Yoshiki, Kyoji's memories of him playing the guitar and his iron body flash in his mind one after another, rendering him speechless. For every time that happens, Himiko waits for him in silence. The half-eaten spaghetti sits between them, now completely cold. The spaghetti! At some point, dust begins to color the sky. The TV begins showing the evening news, with a female anchor briskly describing a small festival in some small country or another. Once he finishes telling Himiko everything, he's overcome with intense exhaustion. Feels like every bone in his body has turned to mush. Wouldn't the news be saying that there was like a fire, or is it that small of a village that it wouldn't? Himiko folds her fingers, pensively folding her hand under her chin. But after a while, she suddenly gets to her feet. The room suddenly brightens up. She switches the lights on. Look at the time, it's already dark. She's beginning to return to her usual tone. Kyoji manages a tired smile. Himiko-san, do you believe me? Himiko tilts her head quizzically as she takes a bottle of water out of the fridge. Of course I believe you, silly. Boy, is it because you write for an occult magazine? Is that why you believe in supernatural phenomena? That's not why. Most of the things those kinds of magazines write are bogus anyways. I thought a Braze wasn't like other occult magazines? Kyoji asks that question teasingly. Miyamiko answers with a straight face. It's very unique. They've got me writing for them after all. His story is coherent. Knowing how Kyoji talks, the last thing I would say about the way he would describe these events is coherent. But that's not why I believe you. I believe you because your story is coherent. Is it? Which part? Even Kyoji doesn't believe. Kyoji asks with a self-deprecating laugh, but Himiko says nothing. Instead, she claps her hands together as if she just remembered something. You don't know because you slept through the morning, but the mansion where that Yuka-chan lives, I think it was ruled as arson. Did the news mention something about Yuka or Yoshiki-san? Did they, like, find their bodies? Not yet. They just left it at the fire department and the police are still investigating, but it's considered a closed case. It's just local news, so it won't make that big of a story. You'll probably want to check tomorrow's newspaper for the details. Right. This incident might have shaken Kyoji's entire worldview, but for the rest of the world, it isn't a particularly big deal. People frequently die in large numbers all around the world. There's always something big happening somewhere. Compared to those, this story is minor. Except they interviewed people living around here. Everyone was adamant they had no idea there was a house over there. Come to think of it, his homeroom teacher, Sandman, said the same thing. What was that house, really? Tries he might to think, though, his mind refuses to work. Miko pats Kyoji on the shoulder. Now, let's actually eat something this time. We didn't have lunch after all. Oh, should I pop out and get something? Kyoji starts to get up, but Yamiko proudly puffs out her chest. I figured this may happen, so I prepared something ahead of time. Huh? Wait, you actually cooked? Of course not. When I went to the convenience store this morning, I bought dinner too. I got spicy hamburger and bang bang chicken and Chinese style miso stir fried meat doria with Mediterranean style penne pasta. Which do you want? Why did you pick all these bentos that sound kind of good but also kind of nasty? Being adventurous with your food is fun. It also keeps you from getting too hidebound. You know, life needs a bit of spice. I prefer normal food if it's all the same to you. Kyoji complains, but Yamiko only smiles at him softly. And once you're done eating, let's get you to bed. You look tired. Her reassuring words soak into his heart. It's hard to believe that he felt glum just a few hours ago. Has he, never stopped to think, oh, Akane has lived through the same thing and worse because she was the victim. How about going over to Akane's house or calling Akane over with Yamiko so she could tell her side of the story as well? Because Akane lived through a very different route in that ending scene, so it would have been a really good idea to ask her, what happened, you know? Also, has he not given a fuck about his, girlfriend all this time? I'm sorry, if this happened to, my partner, I would wake up and immediately call them. As he realizes how Yamiko unintentionally lightened the mood, Kyoji cracks a smile. Yamiko then mischievously narrows her eyes and adds, but don't forget to take a shower, you hear, and take everything you touched and throw it into the washing machine. Yeah, I'll handle it by myself. She encouragingly pats him on the head. The shower after dinner really does make him feel better. While they eat, they talk about trifling matters. They roast the new comedian on TV, compete to see who can answer the questions on the quiz show first, and rib each other for getting them wrong. Both of them made a conscious effort not to address the elephant in the room. Once Yoshiki's body is discovered, Yamiko will have to become involved. He did stay in her home after all. She isn't saying anything to Kyoji. What was that white letter? I want to know what that white letter was. Ask her. She isn't saying anything to Kyoji, but Yamiko's probably busy thinking about all the things she's going to have to do. With her speaking the way she usually does, it's hard to tell. What the fuck is going on? Wow. After his shower, he topples into bed, feeling his body sink into the sheets. You did clean the sheets, right? Zai settled on his guitar of their own accord. He hasn't been in the mood to play for a while, and now the man who promised to teach him is gone. Maybe crying would ease the pain a little. Oh my god. But as cold as it makes Kyoji feel, for some reason his tears won't flow, even after he saw the gruesome state Yoshiki was in before his death. He rolls to the edge of bed, reaching down and fishing for his uniform trousers. Fumbling through the pockets, he's looking for his phone. Akane, I wonder how she's doing. Great question. He pulls out her number and calls it, but it just keeps ringing. She was acting strange last night, but maybe he shouldn't blame her. Not after she got caught in a blast wave with an explosion and thrown clear like something out of an action movie. The thing is, if this happened, you 100%ly should have gone with her to her house and like, because imagine her parents just like having Akane come home after several hours in like torn up clothes with bruises everywhere and burnt pieces of clothing, completely out her fucking mind. Don't you think it would have been a good idea to come with her and explain what is going on? Did she ever go to the hospital after that? He hopes her parents didn't scold her too much. As the cell phone rings and rings, he thinks about what he'll say to her. It doesn't seem like she's going to pick up though. After a moment, he finally remembers. Right, she threw away her phone back at the mansion. When the girl popped up on her phone screen, Akane screamed and threw it against the floor. That means she lost the Mandarin oven strap she had on her phone too. She'll probably be sad when she realizes it. Maybe he can find another in the idol souvenir shop. As he thinks about this, his eyelids flutter shut without him realizing it. Damn. He did not give a fuck. Around the time he starts nodding off, the door softly opens and the light is switched off. Kichi's so sleepy that he doesn't even say goodnight to Yamiko. So there's going to be more. Okay, I will save this because there's obviously going to be more, apparently. There's just so much missing from the story, so much that's bothering me, and yeah, it hasn't been answered, but with the way we like saw Akane a few moments ago, her sprite genuinely looked a bit like Yuka's, but like how would Yuka possess Akane? Doesn't make sense for their like souls to, you know, switch. I don't know. Yuka can Yuka transform bodies? Like, could she take on other people's bodies? I mean, it was obvious that Gore can. Like, Gore could possess people. But, like, you would have acted a bit different. It wouldn't have been as, like, quiet and sincere sounding and looking as Akane seemed, so I don't think it's Gore possessing Akane's body anymore. But how would Yuka possess? That doesn't really make sense. I don't know. But yeah, there was just something off about Akane, and I think it's Yuka in her body. I don't know how they're going to justify that. I don't know how they're going to work with that. I mean, it's better than having Akane in Akane's body, so I'll take whatever I can get by this point. Yeah, hopefully the next episode is the last. I just want to get Akane's route done, and if I got the good ending, I want it done even faster. Because I don't want to see the good ending, I only came for the bad ending. Hopefully the next video I make of this is the end. Please. This has been a lot. Okay, so, goodbye everyone. Bye bye.